What's up, everybody? I'm really excited to be bringing you, finally, some more gameplay footage of some Dice Masters. What's more, I'm really excited to be bringing you some Prime format teams and gameplay. This is the Prime format team that I put together, and what I really enjoyed about these games is that both of these teams, mine and my opponents, were highly experimental, and I feel like for the next several sessions that I play Dice Masters, especially with regards to this format, I think it's going to be highly experimental, and that's something that I've been missing from this game, as it's very easy to put together a team of cards that you already know very well. So with these games and with this team, I experimented with several different forms of ramp, several different forms of sort of win conditions, as well as a couple of other different pieces. Up at the top there, I have Felicity Smoke, and she's mainly there to trigger Two-Face, to spin him up to his higher sides, because that is a Two-Face that essentially your opponents just want to let go unblocked because he can deal his attack damage to both his blockers and the opponent. I also have it there for Hit Monkey, just in case I needed to spin Hit Monkey up. It's the same ability as Two-Face, but you have to pay a fist for it. I threw Mindless Ones on this team, one as a form of ramp via Swarm, but also as a way of cycling fists and gaining a lot of fists to trigger Hit Monkey and also to trigger Too Big to Fly over there in the top left. I included Superhero Registration Act to practice buying that whenever I could and seeing the buy order and flow of picking up ramp via basic action. Threw on Captain Cold's Cold Gun because it's good card text wiping. Obviously included Rip Hunter's Chalkboard because of the global. I also threw on Clayface on here because I wanted to play around with the global and the idea of getting 5 energy very easily and guaranteeing it with the use of a sidekick. And finally, I put on Gorilla Grodd because it's just really good. Jumping back into the game, I won the roll-off but elected to go first. My thinking being that even though I only roll 3 dice, I only need 3 dice in this first turn because my buy order would be rolled 3 energy, 2 of them being shields, pay for the Chalkboard global, Chalkboard over Felicity, and then roll 5 dice next turn, hopefully getting 6 energy to buy turn 2 Two-Face. That unfortunately did not happen as I rolled a sidekick both times, so I ended up just picking up a Felicity by itself. Here is my opponent's team. As I mentioned before, his team was just as experimental as mine was. He's trying out different pieces, trying different combos. He has a really nice low end here. He's got 4 different cards that have 2 purchase costs on them. He's got a Justice that's got a great buffing attack ability. He's got a really, really high damage output Hal Jordan. He's got a nice 5/3, 2/5/3 Falcon, and a really strong multiple man that has Swarm. You can bring a ton of him, as you see his max 6 there. And then the sleeper hit right here in the center, top center, is this Nightwing, rare Nightwing. This is one that's on my list of team building ones as well, because it says when he attacks, deal 4 damage divided as you choose among up to 4 target opposing character dice. So my opponent begins his first turn. He rolls up his dice, gets 3 energy and a sidekick. He's got a mask, a shield, a bolt, and a sidekick. Looks like he's going to reroll that sidekick, pick up a fist. So let's see how he chooses to purchase. He's got a lot of purchase options here, as he really could pick up any of his 2 drops. Looks like he's going to pick up that multiple man, paying 2. Really, he should probably pay that shield and prep that multiple man over. But, looks like he's going to pick up a Justice just as well. So he's starting character on his first turn, which means I need to prioritize sidekicks. There is a sidekick right there. I could keep that sidekick, but it looks like I'm re-rolling that for energy, and I do come up with 4 energy here, so I have a couple of options. I could pick up an SRA for all 4. I could buy a Mindless Ones. I could actually prep it first and buy a Mindless Ones. That would give me 4 energy usage. Looks like I am going to do that. I flip my order here so that I can first use the Chalkboard global. Pointing to the wrong card there. I also have the opportunity to do 5 energy here and pick up a Two-Face if I wanted it. But instead, just going to pick up a Mindless Ones and end my turn. So my opponent here went character on his first turn, and I went sidekick Felicity, so sidekick character, and then prepped a character over. So that is sort of a middle ground, prioritizing blockers, but not necessarily for the time being, and really for a later date. My opponent rolled 4 energy. Looks like he's going to pay all 4 energy. Wonder what he picks up. See what he chooses to buy. Oh, he chose to buy an SRA there. So I grab and roll my 5 dice, 4 sidekicks, and 1 mindless ones. Mindless one comes up. And how do I want to spend my 4 energy is the question. A portion of it will most likely go to fielding. I believe that is not on its free fielding side. One of the downsides of mindless ones is that they do cost to field, and they have a low back end. Not good defensive stats. If my opponent ends up picking up a Nightwing, then I will need better blockers than mindless ones in order to stave off the attackers. So 4 energy, 2 of them fists, 1 bolt, 1 question mark. I could pick up and cycle another mindless ones. Definitely don't want to do that though, because that does not trigger the swarm. I'm going to pay 3 just for a regular old mindless ones. Looks like I do have it on its 0 fielding cost side, which is really nice. The 0-3-1 side on the mindless ones. Let's see how my opponent draws and rolls here. A lot of dice go into the bag, but he's got some good characters and a good SRA ramp die in there. Ends up just drawing sidekicks, so that's good for me actually. I prefer just drawing sidekicks for him. Rolls 2 sidekicks right off the bat as well, and just 2 energy. He's going to put those sidekicks out there. That's interesting. The nice thing about that is it guarantees the +2 attack buff on Justice if Justice comes out in the next couple of turns. So he's got that guaranteed. If he chooses to re-roll it, he has more flexibility with regards to buying. If he does not, then he just picks up a Justice here or a multiple man, and he's good to go. With those sidekicks in the field, I would lean towards Justice because it's already set up for the buff. Looks like he's going to pick up the multiple man. He's reaching towards the multiple man. Multiple man is good too because it builds in swarm, but you're already churning through your bag, so it may or may not trigger, or it would take a while to trigger. Pick up and roll 4 dice. I have a Felicity Smoke here. That will actually allow me to spin up that mindless ones right now, which is good. The other question is, do I want to re-roll that and try to pick up 5 energy with that? Looks like I'm not going to. I'm going to keep and re-roll one of those sidekicks, come up with a fist, and Felicity's going to go out there for free on her 1-1 side. I've got 3 energy. One of them is a fist, one is a shield, and one's a mask. So spin up to the second level on the mindless ones die. Felicity goes in. I'm going to pay 3 for a third mindless ones. So I'm really kind of going towards the swarm route with this go around. I kind of want to see if this is functional with this mindless ones. My opponent gets Justice right off the bat, but does not roll him. He gets a single shield. Let's see if it comes up, and it does come up on the second re-roll, on the re-roll there. He's got it on his, I think it's a 1-2-2 side. Ends up being a 1-4-2 though, if he chooses to attack with it. Maybe that's its 2-3 side. So he's got 3 energy. He's going to have to pay to field that. The question then being, what energy does he keep, and what does he pay with? If he keeps the shield and anything else, he can buy another Justice. If he keeps the mask and anything else, he can buy a multiple man, or he could have kept both the mask and the bolt there and purchased a Hal Jordan. He does something really cool. He uses my global, which is free, pays 0, and spin one of your sidekicks to a mask. And he uses that to pay, and now he has 3 energy. And so he's going to prep over a Hal Jordan via my chalkboard global. So really, really good usage of globals, and none of them were brought by him, which is really important. An important distinction to make. So draw and roll 4. End up with a ton of masks and a bolt. None of that's very good, as my low end is not made up of masks at all, but what I can do is pay 4 for an SRA And I'm going to attack with Felicity here. Hopefully that forces a block, but obviously, I mean, it probably won't. But it's sitting in my field zone is doing nothing. So it's either attack and deal 1 damage, or even better, attack, have it blocked and KO'd, so I can reroll it next turn. Looking at his prep area, though, it might, and what he drew, it might have been good to have kept that, as he looks like he's going to have some more characters out in the field. And with me only having 2 blockers, if a sidekick comes up, that might have been really, really dangerous. Right now, though, it is already dangerous. The Hal Jordan from the Green Arrow and Flash set has some amazing stat lines, and it's not terribly difficult to get a bolt and a mask in order to purchase it. Certainly one of the top cards in that set, I believe. I don't KO one of my sidekicks or KO one of my characters, forcing him to only do 2 dice, only to draw and roll 2 dice. So he draws and rolls 3 from the SRA, that is. He pays and lands basically a perfect roll, fields everything for free, or paying everything, I should say. And he's got a huge board advantage. And it looks like he's reaching to push, which is, I think, smart on his part. Question is, what does he choose to push with? He's got a 4/4 multiple man there. So he's choosing to push with a 4/4, a 4/3, and a 3/3, leaving a 2/2 and a 1/1 back there. This is a smart push, and I have a couple ways to play it. One is to double block, one is to single block, and one is to not block at all. Choosing to not block at all is good because it pushes everything into the bag, and that is what I choose to do, but it really hurts. It drops me down to 9. So this line of play is a serious gamble. And it basically means that I need to prioritize all the blockers that I possibly can and not allow that same sort of board state to build up. And really, it was a perfect roll by him, and some good strategy. So here I'm going to need to re-roll as much of this as possible. I don't need any energy to field Felicity. I just need sidekicks, and I need mindless ones. I probably should re-roll all of those dice minus Felicity. Looks like I'm working my way towards that. I would have to pay some amount of energy to field some mindless ones. So the perfect anti-roll would be to roll all sidekicks and mindless ones on cost sides. Looks like I'm not going to go and re-roll the mindless ones. So this, I think, is a major misplay. It will not take him long to work his way back through that bag, considering that he has an SRA and that he has a swarm trigger set up. But what I do end up doing is prepping and moving over a hit monkey. So purchasing a hit monkey and prepping it. And then I field Felicity, spinning up my mindless one up to its top side there. Passing over to my opponent. He pulls 3 from his bag, 3 sidekicks, and 1 Hal Jordan. Lands the 1 generic side on Hal Jordan, lands 3 energy, and then comes up with the bolt mask side on Hal Jordan. So he's got 5 energy. What to do with it here? He's got a lot of different lines of play. He has everything he needs to purchase a Nightwing and prep it over on the same turn, which would be really painful for me, especially if it comes out next turn. Looks like that's the exact line he's taking. I think that's really smart, and I think that could spell disaster for me if I can't get out blockers that have some sort of defensive value. So here's my own SRA, along with a hit monkey that I'm hoping to land on a character face. That's not a good first roll. 2 generic side on that on the SRA, and then a 2 fist side on hit monkey. If this doesn't land, on this turn, then I might be in some serious trouble. I get a sidekick, and I do get an SRA, so I do get an opportunity to roll some more characters, maybe, if I don't have anything in that bag. I also have opportunities to roll sidekicks if he chooses to allow me to do 3, but he doesn't. He KOs a sidekick, as he did just a second ago. So I draw 2, hopefully rolling a sidekick. That's what I really need here. Get another sidekick. No, don't get another sidekick, excuse me. Get 2 more energy. So yeah, I am in some serious trouble. I'm hoping for a bad roll next turn, or some sort of miracle that's going to prevent me from taking huge damage. I do, however, manage to prep over a Two-Face, purchase and prep on that turn because of SRA. Oh, that is a rough pull. Hope for no character faces at this point. But unfortunately, hope is not on my side. So he's got both character faces, or he's got character faces on absolutely everything. And at this point, he should just be able to field and swing, and I die. So it looks like the line of play of letting through all of that damage up front was the wrong line. I also did not play that well after that line. I should have prioritized more blockers. Continuing to let it play out, I can't let one of my blockers KO itself, or I can't KO one of them to prevent him to draw 3 here. But it only gets worse from there. He is able to cycle through basically his entire bag, get all of his characters back out, and he has the exact energy he needs to pay for every single one of them, including a fist that he can buff with my Too Big to Fly global. He can pump a ton of damage. So he's going to pay and field everything, and all he's got to do is swing. At which point the When Attacks ability of Nightwing triggers, and he can deal 4 damage any way he sees fit. So he's going to deal it to all those characters, KOing all of those. I'm going to assign a single blocker, but I'm going to end up taking something in the neighborhood of, what is that? Something like 14 damage that turn, 15 damage. That's going to kill me. So a bad line of play I took, and I think a worse follow-up as well. Maybe perhaps not a bad line of play, but definitely a bad follow-up. I didn't recognize the danger that I was putting myself in by not prioritizing characters right after that, and especially by not, well, I guess I did prioritize high defense characters in buying Two-Face and sort of buying Hitmonkey, but certainly buying mindless ones in this match did not help me one bit because of their poor defensive stats. So after that drubbing of game 1, we're going to move on to game number 2. Thanks for watching.